dun, dun. Rah! Hey everyone, D here, and welcome to this week's review of Alien Earth Episode 5 In Space No One. Yeah,
Can
and
hear
joining
you
me,
yawn.
yeah, no one can hear you yawn. Oh, we got a lot to get into. I am so glad to have Rob here with me, my man, my legend here, always to join us with these shows. How you doing, Rob?
I'm doing all right. Like we were just discussing. I mean, I was watching riff track specials that were worse than this.
Yeah. Well, you gotta find the bar. You gotta find where that bar is.
Yeah.
And oh, so much to get into today. All right, look, let's not beat around the bush. Obviously, I did not like this episode. Rob had said early on when we were talking about, did we need the flashback? How did this happen? And I believe, Rob, you did say, I do not need to see this story at all.
Yep.
And I think I even said, you're right. I mean, unless it gives us some real interesting new information and so on. And look, I guess I think I counted 3 things that are kind of you could pull out of this episode if you wanted to. But no, to me, this was largely unnecessary. Really, we did not get any more information outside of like a couple of little things, which I'll hit on, than we already had. And I think, sadly for me, this aped the original Alien way too hard. I mean, to the point of you have your kind of bumbling mechanics in the background, and you have, one pilot having something for the captain. I mean, I guess I always thought that Lambert had something for Dallas. I don't think they were ever very clear in the movie. But look, Alien worked because you basically had space truckers. They're dumb. They have no knowledge or training in dealing anything like what they are told to deal with. And thus it sort of makes them the perfect victims. Their mistakes all make sense. The Maginot is a deep space research trip. Its job was to go out and get these things. I mean, they probably lost some people along the way. I think Morrow even says that.
But it's the motivation for the dude who is doing what we find out who it is he lost somebody, so he basically was like, well, screw everybody else. I'm gonna screw them and Wayland Yutani over because I lost somebody on this trip.
Sure, which again is fine. I think you do need to have whatever your inciting incident is, and that is a fair enough inciting incident. Again, it does have a few issues, which I'll touch on. But I think the problem is like everybody else on board is an idiot. They don't feel like smart scientists. They don't feel like they've trained or dealt with these creatures at any point before. They make a lot of dumb mistakes. And instead of one inciting incident, there's like 3.
Yeah,
and it's just trying way too hard, and I don't think explores anything original outside of the original 79 film. I mean, it's got extra creatures, and look, Eyeball steals the show for sure. One of the most interesting things on this, but I never believed that this crew should be in this situation, that these people were the ones that were responsible for bringing this home. It just felt way too much of try hard. And I say that in the fact that 15 minutes in, I'm looking at my wife, I'm like, I have to force myself to watch the rest of it. And I don't care. Everyone who dies deserves it.
Well, I mean, Noah Hawley said that, it's like, it's an Alien series. So somewhere in here, you have to have that. And I'm like, but you don't.
But yeah. It was totally
they gave us this, and the information that we get from Morrow, like he did have a kid. We didn't need him to be on the ship to have that information brought up.
Right.
He could have said it. He could have had a flashback in his own mind of that moment of the beach, and then him on the ship with the letter. We don't need the rest of it. we do get more of the creatures, which is great, but like all that did was show that one scientist was, she didn't notice things that, it's like when you're dealing with things that are, again, it made me think of Prometheus, of just being really reckless around things you don't understand.
Yeah.
And you can't say she's sleep deprived. They've been in cryopods for.
Yeah. Why is she even doing this?
You don't notice this thing is like climbing. Like my eyes would never lose focus on the creatures. And if one of them is suddenly jimmying a lock, I'd notice.
Yeah, not a good design for a containment pod anyway, but all right.
It really felt underwhelming. You don't really care about these people. The fact that what we do learn made me care less about them than like other Alien franchises. We don't even see all of them. Some of them, poor saps, die in their cryotubes, unknowing anything that's going on around them. Right. Tang, the weird, creepy guy, we don't even really get any payoff to that at all.
He's not a synth, which is what I thought he was, and that's why it was creepy and weird. But no, he's just the weird, creepy guy.
Yeah. The one mechanic, I don't know how he got on this ship.
Yeah. What? Do they not know about the 65-year thing? Because that's another thing that they keep bringing up. It's like, well, your shares only get it. That's what they're paid for. It's like, so you all left your families, or you don't? I mean, do they get monthly stipends or some pay from your percent? Because otherwise, this seems like a really bad deal for all of you guys. Why would you even do this?
And for audiences, we've never seen anybody get those shares. Ever.
No, never. Nobody ever gets
Ripley lived but got blamed for the whole thing, so she didn't see any shares. So no one in the history of the Alien franchise that we know of has ever received shares from something that they did for Weyland-Yutani.
Which sounds very corporate and true, but
which does. It's like, well, we know we can offer this, but they're going to be we're going to hire but we would want people that could succeed. They still want their thing, so you want competency, and you could say, well, the mechanics and the engine, those people, they don't need to be smart. Yes, you do.
Yeah.
To be in space, you need to be some form of intelligent that you could.
65 years. You need
and to that guy doesn't know the difference between biology and geology. I guess that's kind of okay, but then the more he spoke, it was just like, oh my God. I couldn't take it. And relegating the chief engine, the captain and the girl, having them have a relationship so that they could be an awkward moment where she doesn't want to tell the truth. These people are all going to die. We don't need this information. He's got a face hugger on his head. He's dead. Who cares who he was sleeping with? These people aren't surviving this episode, so who?
Yeah.
And
a lot of extraneous, unnecessary information. You're right.
And then, to just find out that one of the guys is not really asleep. Why wouldn't you know that?
Yeah. Is there no notification? You don't see
not a million people on this ship.
Was Tang just like jerking off over one of the pods and just like, oh, hi, Papers. Yeah. Go ahead, do your thing. I mean, like, it. No, they created more problems getting their small bits of actually useful information out of this. And here, let me touch on what are 3 pieces of maybe somewhat useful information. 1, facehuggers don't freeze. And apparently neither does the embryo. And look, I get it that they're cryopods and the creatures can apparently survive space. But 1, space is really more of an insulator. It's technically cold because there's nothing out there, but it's not like you freeze instantly when you go out there. Also, while they're called cryopods, I figured that there was more than they just got you cold. There was some mixture or something that, froze you down. Now, apparently this undercuts every other, alien executive plan, which was what? Just freeze them and take them home. I guess apparently that won't work. Though maybe the pod should tell you that something is still alive or moving there, or maybe it hasn't frozen properly, or hey, how about you fix the whole problem and just say the pod was sabotaged also? That would have gotten past all of this. But
I was being a saboteur on the board the ship, being just this guy, it was just disappointing to me because I felt like this was the opportune moment to show what the eyeball was really capable of.
Mm-hmm.
Since we don't know anything about these creatures and the most interesting parts about this episode were those moments of more discovery about the intelligence and the biology of these creatures.
Yes.
If the eyeball had some sort of like kind of mental hold on a person, that would be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Like if it had kind of hypnotized somebody into blanking out and opening up a cage, that would be more interesting than, dang it, my friend died on here, the girl I liked, or the guy, I don't even know. I didn't matter what the reason was, but now I'm gonna do this. Now that bit of information was helpful.
Yes,
we find out that Boy Cavalier was like, who knew this was all coming.
Yeah, that was number 2 and 3. Is one, yes, the ship was in fact sabotaged, and oh my God, it was Boy Cavalier that was behind it all. In a way that he got the guy and made him, offered him a deal to do it. Also, apparently, though you have to cryopod and spend years of traveling around, they do still have faster than light instantaneous video chat across the universe. Which is, again, just have it be recorded videos. Because now you just yanked me out of the reality. Like, dude, you can't even have a phone call like that to Mars, let alone some distant space thing. There's a delay.
Yeah.
Unless there's not, but that's a whole fancy technology. And whoa, wouldn't have that been helpful to any of the other alien ships? But yeah, the fact that the saboteur is just some guy that we've never met before.
We saw him for like quickly in the first episode.
Did we? Okay. All right. Great. Because I was like, in fact, I was like, Morrow, he was like, oh, isn't this you? Like, is this your name? I can't remember what his name was.
Well, that's the thing. They should all know each other. And it's literally just 2 groups of pods, right? This isn't.
I mean, again, I don't know. We don't have a sufficient backstory to understand how they got here, just that they have the thing, so that all of their actions don't match what you would expect a group that actually went out and got these things would act. They're not concerned. There's no feeling of urgency or trepidation, the fact that she leaves the thing open and it's crawling around and goes and spits at its water and does that because she's distracted by an eyeball, because let's have multiple things out and lunch at the same time dealing with these super dangerous space creatures when you're feeding them. Oh, and they're starving, because you do underlie the fact that they're starving. But and then when the eyeball gets out, by the way, also super cool. Love seeing how that thing moves around. I like oh my God, it's here. And then let's just close the door. It's not sealed. They don't seem to tell anybody. And there's no notification that this thing is loose. So later on, when Morrow and this other security guy just get in there, I'm like, well, if one of you dies, obviously it's not Morrow. We know he doesn't. I don't care, because, again, it's stupid. You have a thing loose and nobody knows. Well, what? They just angered me. They just angered me. Also, I think if you're the chief engineer, you do one little thing to sabotage the ship and then it's done. And then maybe make sure that you're awake so you can control the repairs, so you can delay everything so it works well for you. Why did you release the face huggers? were you trying to kill the captain? Was that like an intentional thing?
Yeah, was it an extra like because he's the captain on the ship that got your whoever killed? Like,
Right. And if that was the inciting incident, that should have been it. But again, the lab person losing the ticks and getting the water filled up of the things and the eyeball and so on. Well, now you've got two others. You're right. It should have been, there was one mistake. The eyeball took advantage of it, and we saw everything else fell from there. That would have worked. Even if the chief engineer sabotage cracked the glass for the eyeball creature, and that's how it was able to take advantage of that moment and escape. One inciting incident, not three. Because then you're just trying real hard. And again, everybody seems stupid.
yeah, it Noah Hawley's better than this.
Yeah. And he said this was like
cool,
the alien film he wanted to make. I find that hard to believe.
Yeah, I want to be able to do my own thing. Well, you again, this could have been a really nice. This is the second longest episode. It felt like it was over quicker than the first episode.
Yeah.
This could have been a moment to really care about these people and make it even more tragic, and then have it make less important the creatures here, but we really want to show off these creatures, so everybody has to start being stupid. I get the whole trying to figure out the facehugger thing,
right?
And then you find out, oh god, it's got acid for blood.
Yeah, no, that was cool. The shot of the cut tail and the like melted neck, that was cool. So
then you get the guy who the only thing we know about him is that he used to be another thing. He was an addict.
Oh yeah, the other guy.
And then right before he goes to make a decision, he drinks. He's like, well, screw it. I'm going to pull out these ticks now, instead of going, no, he's dead. He's gone. You've got him opened up. He's coughing up blood. Put him also in the cryo pad or whatever if you have to. Put him back in stasis. I don't care. He's donezo.
And you have no safety equipment for your operation? It's not even like...
You don't understand the thing you're trying to take off. You just talked about the acid that you didn't know it had acid for blood. And this thing has a chemical weapon for when you cut it open and kills you. So they instantly both die because they are dealing with something. Instead of sealing this guy off, quarantining him off, and saying, we'll deal with it when we get to Earth.
Sure.
No, we have to do this now. When the ship is a missile.
Doing it with no protection at all whatsoever, completely open up, blind in a room. I mean, it's just... They didn't even have face masks, not even a pretended like face shield in case they got like squirted with blood or something, you know. They deserve to die.
Yeah, and meanwhile the alien is stalking the place. And I still think that it was really cool when it's behind her and we get like this really cool like image of this thing. The alien looks great in this show. Even when we see it, we saw it a lot in that scene. I loved it. It looked the practical effects, the guy in the suit, it all looked really cool. It's just in a really stupid situation.
It was moving all sexy.
Yeah.
No, I mean, look, I think as a rule, you should never have a clear, fully lit, walking around shot of the alien ever. You know, I think you always make a mistake with that. It did move very cool, and you know, it was great to see what they committed to and how good that it looked. I just think from a horror standpoint, you detract when you show too much too clearly, but that's a personal preference thing.
I don't know. It's been since 1979. I didn't mind a full like stand up of like, oh my god, really look at this thing. Like it's they're terrifying. So I just like I to
And
be that person to just be like, what the hell am I looking at? Like it's looking at you, you're looking at it. It's kind of like a oh shit situation that could have been a really, it showed me to at least that there could have been this episode could have had some really terrifying moments, silent moments of like just what they're up against.
mm-hmm.
But it just now when it gets they leave the eyeball out and
Right.
the scene where she goes and finds the other mechanic just standing there and he turns around and he's operating the guy. That like it was brief, but it was really cool. And I mean the fact that they were able to use that first off, the way this thing thinks, right? It distracts her, like look at me, so that this thing can showing intelligence from both sides of both creatures. One being able to figure out how to get out of a thing, knowing that you've been drinking out of this water, knowing that that's what you should do to spread yourself. And this thing going, hey, if you don't see this is to my benefit later. That's great. And I even understand in the tense situation that she was in, the one mistake I allow is that she didn't pay attention to sealing it.
Yes.
Under law. I was at least going, okay, high stress situation. They're frantic. Their friends are dying. She puts the thing up and she doesn't. And that way we can see this thing like bouncing itself off to like get out and then run amok. And when it's in the guy and they come in and Morrow's there, who again, Babu Sise is still really good in this episode. I mean, he's trying to figure out who's doing what. Sure. You see that he actually doesn't hate these people. He's following orders, and we do by the end when we find out like his whole deal. I mean, with the loss of his kid and everything, we'll get more into that. But him going in there and the eyeball creature using the man to attack the alien itself. Like,
well, calling out to the alien as a distraction, so Morrow would have to pay attention to it. And then as it gets away and then it attacks the alien, which again, I was really curious to see like, ooh, eyeball in alien. How will that work?
Yeah, when you don't have eyes. Like, it was really, really cool. There were like those little brief moments where just, oh, we've never seen this kind of thing before. And it's just in a bad...
Just again, there are great moments in this episode. There are very cool little bits. There are interesting reveals and all of that. Again, mostly around the eyeball. But it's just unfortunately packaged in something that is so familiar feeling. I think it takes away the tension. One, we know that obviously Morrow isn't going to die, but that everybody else is. So in a way, you are just waiting for everyone to die. How is this going to happen? And
I mean, we already understand why she dies in the end, and is that there's only room for one person. What's he going to do? He lets her in, they both die. It's a terrible situation, but that's just what happened.
Well, and, again, his family's gone. All he has is the mission. And the mission is to bring the ship and the specimens back to Yutani. Everybody else is expendable.
Go in the chat here.
Yeah, the standard Yutani rule. Bill in the chat. Maybe it's just me, but this is exactly the show I would expect from an unregulated corporation that rules the world. Yeah.
Yeah. But I still think that they should be hiring. I don't know. I don't know. But what in the end was this? It's just the episode to find out Morrow's bigger motivations and backstory.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we could have done that in several ways that didn't involve telling this story.
Right.
Especially if you're not going to resolve some questions that were asked. I guess not many questions were asked, but it's that whole thing of we have to know, we have to see what happened, we have to see the train, the car crash, we have to drive by slow and look at the horror. I don't think that that's a problem that we have as an audience, and I think that they want to show us this, but Noah's better than that.
Mm-hmm.
And just because you're a fan of this and you're getting a chance to do it, make a short film, man. Like put it on the DVD extras of, what happened on this ship, something like that, some kind of bonus to get people to buy the physical media, or some behind the scenes thing you can watch on Hulu or whatever.
Well, and I can't believe that doing an 8-episode series, you're suddenly like, I got to spend one of these episodes telling this flashback story. Part of me is like, and again, this is all speculation. Part of me is like, was this a Noah Hawley choice? Was this a production choice? Was this an executive choice? I mean, look, look, if he says that he wanted to do it and the story came along while he was writing it and he was like, I want to jump in and do it, I can't deny him from doing it. I'll also acknowledge that podcasts are basically, advertisements, production work for the film and for the show. So you're always going to say positive stuff in all of these things.
But did you notice it was the shortest episode and gave no real insight except for more insight into Morrow's thing with Slightly, which has nothing to do with this episode.
Yeah. No, I didn't. I wasn't getting a whole lot out of the real necessities of what this had to do. And again,
they had the editor on there.
Yeah, and I think, because part of it is all right. So you got to squeeze this all down to the post-sabotage in the story and everything falling to hell at that point. Is that the most interesting part of this spaceship story, or would it be the going out and finding the animals? But that seems like a whole other season, and that takes away the tension of discovery that you're going to have later on in the show. So again, why even do this? You're right. The episode, Utani could have just thrown over her shoulder, oh, sorry about your daughter. And that would have confirmed that she actually had a kid, and then we could have seen him with the paper very briefly next episode of the, I'm sorry your daughter died at 18. This message will be here for you in 53 years when you get back, or her effects will be, or whatever that is. Again, that's kind of cool, but that's the only information. And then if they come across the chief engineer and Boy Cavalier discussion, boom, that's it. Those are the only two bits of information that you actually need to take away from this whole episode. Nothing else is informative or doesn't do anything but make you ask more questions.
Yeah. And then the extra information at the very end, where he does go in, which I didn't think they'd do. I considered him a liability to Weyland-Yutani. Mm-hmm. And then they just throw it in there. Oh yeah, this is why he's loyal, because he was a street urchin that was taken in by her grandmother. And now he's got all this extra motivation to bring it home for the Weyland, to a lady who's not even alive anymore.
Mm-hmm.
He's still just being used by them. Like, give him anything he wants is supposed to feel like what? It's an alternative to the lawyer thing. She's still going to try to do the arbitration, but she's also going to try to take it from him this way.
And he downloaded all that info, right, into his brain and such. So he has the recording. So all he has to do is go up and say, oh, you tried to steal this. It wasn't an accident. Thus you owe me, or corporate war, blah, 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 blah. Again, where you could have revealed that little bit of information.
Yeah.
He is behind it all. because I hope that information is used next week during this lawyerly discussion. Because if it's not, then that's really useless information. Then that is like, that's just for the audience. Because that's all Morrow has to say. Oh, by the way, Boy Cavalier, he was behind the sabotage. He bought one of your people off. Good information to know. This should help in our arbitration.
Yeah. And then figure out a way to like take what he has or whatever. There's still a way for them to be like, okay, arbitration is you lose, like we're removing you from the group of 5 and we're coming to take everything of yours. And Morrow is going to lead the group that's going to take all of our stuff back. And then there would still be the going to the island thing where there'd be a face-off of all the things that have been being built up.
Right. Bill in the chat also, this would have been better as a first episode because everyone dying would have been a surprise. Yes, that is very true.
I mean, if they wanted to slow burn this, they could have mixed in their getting the creatures with Wendy actually being like showing her illness, showing Wayland Yutani, or not, like Prodigy coming to her father about it, like telling her she's special without revealing any too big information, maybe stretching out like while this is happening, like who cares, like intercutting the different stories and then ending like episode 2 maybe with like having the get the creatures, episode 2 being the ship and then everything going to hell, episode 3 is the crash episode, like I don't know. But in the end, I still think like what I said was right, is we didn't need this. Yeah. There were other ways to get this information out. And even though last week's episode was not my favorite, this just felt like, like if you want to make an alien movie, the classic style where everybody just gets taken out one by one, you could still do that. You could still do that. And the characters, if it was just about that, you would have been able to like make these characters matter. You could have given them better endings. You could have kept them smart without, still making mistakes. And you could have shown how intelligent these creatures are at manipulating situations that create your own downfall. While you aren't making mistakes, only thing you don't understand is them. So the hubris of the whole thing, brings you down.
Well, it would be that great, honestly, counter-alien story. Is because, again, space truckers grab thing that they don't know anything about, completely unprepared. Thus, all their stupid mistakes make sense because they're space truckers. This should have been countered with, this is a smart crew. They battled these creatures. They collected them. They are aware of their dangers. They know exactly what it is that they're bringing back. And those creatures outsmarted them. That would have been an interesting story. That would have been a great counter to it's like, see, even if you make all the right choices, they still get you.
Yep.
Because that's the only other interesting story you could tell, because all the other idiot stories have already been told. Otherwise, as you said, why tell this story at all? Why waste the time?
Because it's cool.
Yeah. But again, I think it's also as if you were going to do an actual better story, you would need to spend more time with these characters, and that would be a different story. That would be Alien Collection, not Alien Earth.
Yeah.
Or whatever,
And I kind of wish now that not everybody had, like during the crash, that maybe some of these people didn't die in their pods. Maybe that they had survived in their pods, and they could have woken up and been like, we don't even know what the hell happened on our own ship,
Mm-hmm. Oh, by the way, are we assuming that, I know that they're playing with canon and this is doing certain interpretations of the alien mythos, and I'm fine with whatever personal direction it wants to go in. But that this particular warrior is laying eggs because we have those eggs that Slightly and Wendy find guarded by the laser thing, and we don't have anything like that we've seen here. We've only seen the one egg that was like in the sealed box that the engineer opened up. So are these eggs that they collected and got loose and then they put them together? Because again, that laser grid, or did the alien lay the eggs and then set up a laser protective grid, which doesn't seem to make sense to me. Again, if I dig in before, I didn't need to ask these questions. I just made assumptions that this was part of the ship. Now I have to ask this question because I'm really curious where those freaking eggs came from.
Yeah, and did he open it up and take them out and put it there and
if this alien form is laying eggs and that's just how
it physically it'd be like it didn't have the time.
Again, I am with you. I just have this because of this episode. It gave me questions I didn't have before. I was just like, oh, I'm assuming this is part of the thing.
Yeah.
And now I don't. So
this is what happens when you really start to see the cracks in something that was good, and then again starts doing plot over character in a show that's clearly about character, or at least was, and about bigger things, and then starts to fall into that trap that so many shows and movies do.
It gets hard when you try to overly complicate things. Again, simple premises of Alien. You're stuck on a ship. You're out in the middle of nowhere. So you can't go anywhere. You can't communicate with anyone. You got no help. You got no backup and no one to ask. Perfect, contained, simple. Even Aliens basically put in the same thing. Communication blocked out. We're stuck on the planet. We can't communicate with anyone. We don't really know any help. We're just 17 days. I'm not going to last 17 hours, man. But again, simple setup. Here, because they're trying to add the backstory, they've got to complicate because of the collections and the people in the group, and then all of a sudden they're tripping over each other because now you've got too many loose wires and parts that aren't fitting smoothly together.
Well, when we get back to the present time, or when we return to the main story next week, hopefully it'll be, we got 3 episodes, and it still has a chance to we can honestly forget this episode really exists.
Oh, I mean, it hasn't soured me on the show overall by any means. I have had a few issues with it, and I know that I am overlooking a lot of it. And I will say that, looking over the expanse of Alien products, movies that have been out there, this still ranks high, even with bad episodes and stuff like that. Okay, I mean, this is still in the upper half or upper third easily.
Yeah, this isn't going to turn into, I hope, what happened with The Last of Us season 2, where I'm overlooking a lot. I'm praising it for the things it's getting right, and then in the end, I'm like,
yeah, don't Mr. Robot me, man. Don't Mr. Robot me.
Oh, see, that's a whole other subject.
Yeah. We'll see, that'll be a different discussion. Couple little things I did want to hit on. One, don't know if you noticed it or if it caught your attention. It definitely grabbed me and my wife's. The shot of Morrow talking to Tang in that interview room. But she's like, where's all that smoke coming from? The smoke machine must have been right off camera, and they're wafting it into frame, and you're just seeing the smoke. It's like, there's nothing that should be generating smoke in this room or thick atmosphere. It's just a production thing. I've complained about the overuse of smoke in this, and that just kind of caught my amusement. The dirt. Did you have questions about the dirt? I'm just going to assume that was land sample from Earth where one of them is from, and the two of them had talked hey, we're going to go back and build this house, and that's why she's pouring the dirt over his cryotube and then later like taking a dirt bath when she thinks she's gonna die. I don't know. That's what I came up with, but again, it's just one of those weird things. Like, I'm sure this means something. I have no idea what it is.
I mean, I would say they probably took it from one of the worlds they were at.
Well, it said Iowa.
Oh, it said,
or Utah. Yeah, there was like, I think there were 2 different names on it or something. So
I don't know why you need Utah dirt in space.
Yeah. Again,
I guess I'm from Utah. I bring a little piece of home with me. And so when he died, she brought home back to him.
Or maybe it's, hey, if I die, bury a little bit of Utah dirt with me. Could be any of these things. We have to make them up. Yeah. Let's see. I'm not going to go off on my xenomorph rant again. Sorry, when Wannabe Captain just came out, she's like, it's a xenomorph. I'm like, they're all xenomorphs. I'm not getting into this discussion again.
I did like the guy that wouldn't, the mechanic who just wouldn't shut up. I was with everybody else at that table, though. They were just like, shut up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I wanted him to, like, that would have been the great time for him to, like, fast acting kill. Like, he drinks the water and then John hurts. Like, let's go. If we're going to ape Alien, let's fully ape Alien.
Yeah, man. Just commit.
On everyone.
And those ticks are flying and they're getting on top of other people. Takes down a few other ones. I mean, have fun with it. I already went off on the 65-year thing. Again, I'm hoping that like somebody's getting monthly pay.
The company wants their monsters.
Yeah. Because otherwise, no one's ever getting their
The chief engineer was a crack shot, man. That poor other guy, he just got shot the hell up. He's boom, 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 boom. Just not one shot in Morrow.
No.
He really had it against that. The real threat's Morrow, but I'm just going to keep shooting the kid.
Well, Morrow's got that deflective plot armor, so you try to shoot him, it deflects into the people next to him. It's just...
We got to figure out how to kill him.
Oh, no, we know that he makes it into the next episode. Curse you! Yeah. No, I think we pretty much hit it all. Anything else is basically just beating a dead horse. So, just some disappointing choices here. It's not killing the series for me, but, if you want to tell your own Alien story, don't repeat the previous Alien stories.
For me, I wanted this breather from last week. I didn't need this episode, but I was happy that I was like, okay, they're doing it. And I fully had faith that it was going to be good.
Oh, yeah.
And then it wasn't. And so now after wanting that step away from the other story, I can't wait to get back to the story that I actually wanted. And this one that I said wasn't necessary. So,
and
bring it on.
There's only 3 episodes left. I don't know where they're planning to end this. Again, is it multiple seasons? Is it all on Earth? Part of the expectation is I should not know where they're going to go, and I should be, excited for the possibilities. But I don't know. I guess effectively this is the start of your classic Alien film because, they're about to get out because someone's slightly is going to try and infect Joe and things will escape and horrible things will happen.
Yeah, who's going to be left and how many of the, next seasons, if Prodigy goes down, will then we spend more time focusing on the other corporations that are also with Weyland-Yutani. There's 4 more. Will this also just be showing how Weyland-Yutani whittles all those corporations down in the middle of what could be an alien invasion?
Sure.
How do we stop this? And
I think ultimately they are, again, total speculation. They just need to reach a point that feels right for the hybrids. Either a bunch of them die, and we have the survivors that are ready to move on and do something else, or we discover some threat with their reality, or they finish this and they're the ones that go off to try and learn more about the aliens, or maybe Wendy's taking any of the survivors back home or some weird things. It's the aliens are the background. The hybrids are the characters. And as it's television, we need to reach a point for the hybrid. So that's the only, I think, point that's would be satisfying to me, is if they either reach some point where we can go, okay, we're ready for a next season and where they're going to take this, or they develop some idea of this is going to work or this isn't going to work, or just again, I think that's where it needs to happen, because if it's just like, do we kill the aliens or do we not? I think in 3 episodes you could definitely do that. I don't know.
Yeah, and I mean, we got the kind I've brought up to Bill earlier, that is Wendy a possibly like a new kind of queen,
right,
for the aliens? You know, not being able to give birth, of course, or lay eggs, but can control themselves collectively. That's an interesting thought. So, I mean, there's plenty of things to be positive of and see where it's all going to go. But other than that, we don't ever, you know, this is that episode that I'll be skipping.
Yeah.
When I rewatch this, I'll fast forward to the eyeball stuff, and I'll watch like the last 20 minutes of this episode probably, and then skip like everything else.
The eyeball cut, and it'll just be that episode there. 7.5 episodes in season 1. Yeah. All right. Well, guess we'll wrap things up. We'll be back here next week for a little bit more Alien Earth. And yeah, it is The Eye, or no, The Fly, I think is the title of the episode for next week.
Supposed to be some body horror, so
yeah, we should get into things. This is hopefully is when we'll really be kicking everything into gear, and then by the end of it, we'll just be like, oh my God, how could we ever have doubted what we were going to see? That's what I would like. Fingers crossed. Any final thoughts or things you want to say before we sign out of here, Rob?
Just still doing what we do. We Vox Machina campaign that we're doing for Baldur's Gate 3 is still, you know, we're not doing it as fast paced as we were. We're doing it like once a week now because I'm busy. There's plenty of games to play. So we're doing that. We're doing God of War Ragnarok. We're doing Star Wars Outlaws, which I'm really getting into Star Wars Outlaws. I am really loving being a shady person working for different, like the Pike, Crimson Dawn, the Hutts. There's a new group of people I found. I'm like, oh, there's just more, you know, little fun things to do. And we just started playing Psychonauts 2.
Ooh, nice.
Free on PlayStation Plus. And that game I really love because not only is it clever and well animated and gives you cool powers, but it deals with mental illness and mental health and empathy, things that are in short supply right now. So
yeah, the first Psychonauts was a super pleasant surprise. So I am excited that you're diving into Psychonauts too.
And for small goals, I'm 6 subscribers away from 2,500, and I'm trying to hit that goal. And then once we hit that, it's 2,750, and then 3, you know, whatever. But I'm just, you know, like we've both just, I'm not going to be a big YouTuber. I don't really want to be a big YouTuber, but I still love to see a little bit of incremental growth. I think we all do. I think it just helps with our motivation. So subscribe to Darren too. Subscribe to my channel. We're just a couple of small YouTubers talking shit on the internet with what little intelligence we have about things, and share the joys and the pain of our pop culture that we have going on, and the things that what we allow ourselves to distract ourselves from the horrors of modern day society.
Indeed. And on that note, Bill, thanks for joining us in the chat. Everybody joining us in the archives, appreciate you spending your time here with us. And we will be back next week for a little bit more Alien Earth. In the meantime, so long, take care, and as usual, Watch out for those Nazis.